I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's okay. No, I'm not seeing it. You're right. Bugging. Yeah, because if it was big, you move that way. I'm looking at this, no, no, you can't. Well, the apple is more. Apple, I'm no, anything else, nothing, no, I think the last nothing. Yeah, oh, I'm like, I know that. Yeah, oh, but there is no back. What's wrong with that?
Can't be sitting there all day squirting stuff. You just gotta let the bait work. That's it. You just gotta be patient.
You just gotta wait for the bait. You want the bait to get out. Yes, get back and you should be You just gotta wait for the bait to start. You get this one on, and hit, and then once the bait gets, you'll get to the bait. Yep, just gotta wait for the bait. No, I was looking up there.
Yeah. Oh, once the bait takes
Yeah.
it'll take a while. Because suddenly start answering.
Yeah.
But it's going to take hours to days. But just
Yeah.
let the bait do its work.
Yeah, well, I sprayed it down my trash can.
Yeah, that's
And when I did, it's like flap. I did that, and it's me all going there.
Yeah, just spray down the trash and that's it.
Yeah.
These will do their work over time.
I did trash and just swapped them all in the bottom of the trash. And like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I know it's still there's not much you can do, but because the way this works is they take it back to the queen after a few days. He dies, and of course, as you know, once the queen dies, that's it.
Yeah.
So that's how it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the backyard, those two traps I put down, there's not a trace of ants there anymore.
Oh, so.
This takes a while because again, it's bait. It's not instant dead, so.
Yeah. It's gonna take quite a long time. That'll be so long.
Yeah, the fire ants. I'm just gonna stuff a little bit of attacking up in the corner.
Mm.
That's it, exactly. No, just blocking off an exit point, realistically.
Oh, yeah.
I can get a screwdriver.
Okay. Oh, that way. No, debate, no, you can't keep watching it. Debate will work.
Yeah.
Just takes time, as Andrew said, as I said, you gotta listen to us, please. Okay.
That's too small. My finger's too big.
Yes. Definitely the sweet water.
That's it, yep.
There we go.
Yeah.
That run away.
That's it.
Yep, done.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I just found one in the sink.
Okay, that should do it for now. Outlet plugged. Yep.
Yeah, I'm
Like, you literally just asked for corn, so
I
like,
know.
of course.
Somewhere you get this, you know. And that's the adapter. Somewhere they said compression. I don't even know how it's not. That makes it.
Oh,
Queen.
18th of July. It is the weekend. The weather looks pretty interesting. It is a Saturday. It is the 18th of July. It is the weekend. The weather looks pretty interesting. This live camera from Mount Shasta showing the air quality. We're going to talk about air quality today, east and west coast, because of the smoke from the Canadian fires, and then this smoke in the Shasta Basin from fires in Oregon, which are burning pretty aggressively. We're going to talk about high surf today. We're going to talk about the current El Nino temperature, look at some of the numbers, some misconceptions. Monsoonal flow, we got a little bit of it now. We're going to see more of it, and how El Nino and the warmer tropical Pacific plays into the next week of our weather, and then fire stuff. And beyond that, California north to south and nature snacks. We'll look at the Brooks Bears and some other stuff. We use tools, awesome tools, live cameras, which are just perfect for weather. We're going to go to the tropics and look at the latest on the tropical storm, which may not become a hurricane. We're going to look at Weather Service headlines up and down the coast. Those are your taxpayer dollar weather offices putting out information based on what they think is important, from Sacramento to Hanford to Los Angeles to San Francisco to Eureka. And then we look at the computer models, which give us an idea of what is going to happen in the future. Just using the models, which is what all meteorologists use, and which is you have access to now, which is pretty cool. So we'll look at some models. You can go beyond that, and based on what you know and what you've learned. We've got the watchduty.org. We're going to look at that. A couple fires burning. Air quality, always a thing, especially in the East Coast right now, but also Southern California and parts of Northern California. Then we go Northern California, live cameras north to south, looking at soundings, wind gusts, just everything pertaining, trying to take a live picture and go, oh, this is what a 30-knot wind looks like at Point Arena, right? And we can do that with live cameras, so we can kind of go, oh. And I think that helps solidify some of these concepts. And then we move into a slightly esoteric part of the programming, which is nature snacks, which are fast becoming a favorite of mine, and I suspect yours as well, because we look at a lot of surf, we look at a lot of animals, we learn a little bit, we look at some history, we do the whole shoot and match. So this shot's unreal. You can see that just how that basin is holding that smog, that inversion in there, pretty shallow. Let me hit some coffee. Again, hey, thanks for all the new subscribers. You guys are awesome. This is basically very California-centric. It's science-driven. I am a meteorologist. I was one on TV for almost 40 years in the Bay Area market, big TV station. But this is way more fun. I used to do weather in a minute and a half, 2.5 minutes. I kid you not. We did, and I was the chief meteorologist here, and now we do weather. It needs time. It needs room. You have to. There's a lot going on. So I'm not just telling you the weather. I think you'll learn the weather as we move along the way. So talking about smoke. Sorry about the pause. This is the Mackinac Bridge in Michigan. We looked at it yesterday. Pretty hazy, smoky. This is East Coast. I know I said California-centric, but you can't really ignore millions of people under extreme air quality concerns. Air quality yesterday was the worst in the world, and in places today, again, worst in the world. So Beijing, China, taking second place. I think some of these areas in Detroit and Cleveland getting ridiculous air quality issues. And then you can see some of that up in eastern Oregon, northeastern California, air quality stuff. This is the smoke model. We're looking at HRRR, which is a rapid update. But you can see the smoke moving off. It depends where you are. If you're in Bend, you're going stoked because of smoke. There's that frontal system coming in. You can see the front kind of grinding its way and pushing the smoke out. And there's another weather system out here that has driven off a lot of the smoke, and now there's a deepening trough. You can see the trough deepening and pushing the smoke down. Okay, so it's looking better. things are looking better. Air quality wise, purple's bad. They call it purple air, but purple air is bad air quality. And what you're seeing in the East Coast, it's hard. You can make out the state just by the air quality, but I mean, look at this. And let me tell you something about air quality. It matters, and I'm not an atmospheric chemist. I've had atmospheric chemistry classes, atmospheric physics classes, but I don't know all the details. But all I can tell you is bad air quality is one of those things. Someday we're going to look back. We already have looked back and gone, oh, it takes out a lot of people. It causes lots of problems. Talk about heat as being a really bad thing for people with pre-existing conditions. This air quality. And you've got millions of people. So and then we've got some air quality issues out here, mainly from those fires in Oregon. But again, we're dealing, these are lightly populated areas. These areas near the Great Lakes, and it's humid, it's hot, it's smoky, and there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. You're not going, we get in the car and drive to Bolinas. We get in the car and drive to Lompoc. We get in the car and drive to Santa Barbara. We can get away from it generally, but a lot of places can't. Okay, so the tropical Pacific, that is Hurricane Alida. All you guys, thanks for chiming in on that. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly now. Not hurricane. It wanted to become a hurricane, but right now it's sticking as tropical storm, and it's taken a turn to the north, and that's moving it into cooler waters quickly. And as you will learn this El Nino cycle, warm water is how hurricanes form. Once you get to 79, 80 degrees, you can form a hurricane. Once it gets below 78 or 79 degrees, hurricanes fall apart and become tropical storms and then fall apart further. They need that evaporation component from the ocean surface. They need all that humid air, that warm water coming up. And so they're not there, but because we have so much 3.4 El Nino zone, warm water, we're going to see more of these, and you can already see them coming off. This is the Pacific Ocean. Atlantic Ocean has less Atlantic hurricanes. Sometimes they're stronger in El Ninos, but less. The Pacific has more storms when there is an El Nino. So what we're going to see, and we're already seeing it, lines of these things. And I'm going to show you something in the computer models that is quite stunning when you look at it. This is another look at Alida. And then what's coming behind it? And what's coming behind it are more tropical storms, potentially hurricanes. Warm water favors these. Now, is this El Nino right in this area? No. El Nino's way down here. But that warmer water is allowing these storms to form and continue to build as they go. So that's down the Pacific. This is Alida here. It's pronounced with an A, is what I've been told, and you can see it spinning. I'm going to put in a track on it, and you'll see it falling apart. Let's see, there it goes. Okay, so right now it's 70-mile-an-hour wind, 74-mile-an-hour wind speed gets you a hurricane. And you can see the system as it moves forward into tomorrow, it's basically back down to a tropical depression, and wind speeds to 52 miles an hour. So it's moving into cooler water. But wait, what is that behind it? A lot of activity, and that's one of the things I want to show you. This is precipitable water. I think this is anomalies. This is just going to show you, we're looking at the GFS. This goes way out. Okay, there's Alida, right? And you can see it. I want to make sure, right? So that's what I'm talking about. And then watch and so we see the moisture pull in, and that brings the potential, certainly for humidity and heat along the coast. That could spawn some issues in some areas, maybe a thunderstorm. Then look what's right behind it. So Alida, right behind it, you see that, right? That flares out into the Pacific, and then sucks back in and gets up into the flow of the westerlies. And then what's coming up around the corner around Baja? What's that? Oh, and what's that? Right? So you see this succession? I mean, is that unusual? If that goes down that way, yeah, especially if they all turn into tropical storms or hurricanes, which some could, some might not. But either way, the heat from the equatorial region is being transported. It has to. It's the way nature works. That heat's got to go somewhere. So it starts taking chunks of it and pushing it northward. That's what a hurricane is. It's relieving the heat stress at the equator. And there's some heat stress at the equator. I think that says a lot right there. Okay, so this is El Nino. Listen, El Nino's got a lot of ways to look at it. This year we're using the Ronnie, which is a relative Oceania Nino index, which basically takes a 3-month. Let me make sure I get this right. Takes a 3-month average. Okay, and so right now the Ronnie, which is what we need to use, the 3-month average, is at 1.0 degrees Celsius above. This isn't the Ronnie. This is the current temperature. Current temperature is anomaly is 2.16. That would be basically what people are calling a super El Nino, or it's really just called a very strong El Nino. That's the current today temperature. Well, Bill, why isn't it a very strong El Nino? Because this temperature trend could change and drop down. You've got to average 3 months out. But this thing is on track. It's already a moderate El Nino. It's at 1.0 degrees. The official Ronnie is 1.0 degrees as of this morning. And that is a moderate El Nino. So we're guaranteed that. It's not going to take much to get to a strong or a very strong El Nino. But until the Ronnie averages out 3 months to do, we can't really call it that. But what we can do is look at trends. These are all old El Ninos that were big, 1982, 1997. This thing is on track. It moves around, but this thing is on track. It's saying right now, plus 2.11 degrees Celsius, which would put us at a very strong El Nino if that was a 3-month average, but it's not. It's a 1-day average. So when you hear Super Godzilla El Nino, that's the number they're using, and you can't use it. You got to use the Ronnie, which is the RONI, which is right now, the official number is plus 1.0, which is just bumping into the moderate range. Okay? Yeah. Temperatures today, forecast for California. It's going to stay like this for a little while. The heat advisories essentially have been dropped, even though it's hot as hell out there towards Nevada, that 117 up north of Vegas. Wow. That almost looks anomalous, doesn't it? But these are the highs for today. And then tomorrow will be about the same. The numbers are going to kind of, we're going to see more humidity, and that will drop the temperatures a little bit, but it'll stay warm and it'll feel warm. But more of the same. These are Weather Service headlines. We'll get into the more into the weeds here on that. This is San Francisco saying, okay, we got small craft advisories. This is Sacramento saying, hey, fire, summer. And there's some gusty winds in the valley, 25 miles an hour. But it's not a bad wind direction. It's kind of a northwest wind. We had a fire yesterday up on Mount Diablo. They squished it out pretty quick. This is down in Southern California. We lost those heat advisories, heat warnings, but we have a small craft advisory offshore. And we also have a coastal beach advisory. Why is that? Because of what I just showed you. Because of the warmer water in the Pacific, there's these tropical storms are throwing up south swell, which is awesome. I'm actually taking off for a couple days starting tomorrow, because I gotta, you know where I'm going, right? You know where I'm going to surf. Yeah, so I'm gonna be gone a couple of days. I'm gonna be in the van, so I'll probably take a laptop, but I don't think I'm talking to you tomorrow or Monday. Either way, like, you care. But that's what south swell will do. That's what El Nino will do. And up here you got a beach advisory, which is the same thing. They're just going, hey, maybe a little south swell, and then the fog along the coast. That looks like a pretty typical marine layer, doesn't it? Yeah, for this time of year, it's kind of deep, right? It's pushing inland. Like, see Mount Tam right there? How deep do you think we'll get to the inversion, but how deep do you think that fog is? Because it's got to get in over Mount Tam, over the Marin Headlands. It's got to get in over the, kind of in the Big Sur area here. This Point Conception, it's got to get up over there. So it's got that marine layer has got to be at least 1,700 feet deep. And then down in Southern California, you just have sparse fog along the coast. This is the 500 millibar vorticity, or 500 millibar temperature anomaly, which we use a lot here this time of year. Orange is above average temperature at 18,000 feet. Blue is below average. Let's just go. When I see white or blue, I go, it's going to be summer like always. When I see orange, I go, oh, it's going to be a little hotter than always. And that's what we're looking at. This is today, tomorrow, and it warms up a little bit. See, it's cooler. See what's happening? Just that high's trying to bulge. See it bulging, pulsing. That thing right here, that's the center. Watch it pulse. See it? So that thing's trying to build in. That would be on Monday, Tuesday, which would, if in fact this low pushes a little closer, I talked about it yesterday, that moisture coming up from down here potentially gets trapped in there. Potentially. So see that system? See it? Instead, did you see it get sucked in? So now we're down the road. on the 27th. But see what El Nino does. This is what El Nino is. El Nino is not at our doorstep. Its remnants are, and that right there. Are you watching the spinner? I hope you are. This guy here gets sucked a few days later. All that subtropical moisture. I know it's just a tropical depression, or not even that, just storminess. That gets sucked in. And that makes its way looks like it makes its way up into Washington State. And then there's one behind that. So that's what El Nino is. That's what it is. It's fuel. And as the winter comes, that jet stream gets further south and it starts grabbing those cinnamon rolls, pushing them in. I know, I just oversimplify, but that's all it is, dude. That's all it is. And so this is precipitable water. Same idea. It's just showing you the moisture and what we're going to see. I think we're GFS, which will go up pretty far. And there it is, right? So there's Alida. Falls apart, gets sucked in. That's moisture. I put a circle around it, and here comes the next one. That one gets sucked back. See, it'll start to move east. And there comes another one, and then there's one behind that, and I'll bet you there's more behind that. It's El Nino. This is the forecast for this evening, and I'm showing you the wind flow. Just that there's still, even though it's warm and heaty, hot in the valley, we're still seeing this onshore flow in the Bay Area and Central California. So this is San Jose, San Francisco, Oakland. This is all the Bay Area cities, and then up into Sacramento. It's keeping you guys cool. That's your delta breeze, and it flares out like that. That's going to hang around. I mean, you'll see it each afternoon. Let's see if we can do it. It's not exact, but as long as you see that signature right there, that's Sunday night, you're going to sleep well in Sacramento. And even in Modesto, you'll notice it. Out in Livermore, you'll notice it. See, there's again on Monday. So it hangs around. When that goes away, when that signature goes away, you're dealing with some heat and higher fire danger in a larger area. And so it's just repetitive. See how it keeps showing up? That's Thursday night. It happens at night because it's a diurnal. The valley gets hot, the ocean is cold. You get this cycle. So I could go more into that, but I don't want to run out of time. These are the forecast highs for today or tomorrow. These are tomorrow. These are tomorrow on ice. So that's your temperature footprint. That's what it looks like. That's tomorrow. I showed you today's forecast highs, and then these are tomorrow. So that's reasonable. That's summer for sure. Now the wild card is going to be this moisture. This is precipitable water. Why are you showing us this, Bill? Because I want you to see this cool footprint. So there's a Alida. Now look at that orange line going north. There's one. See how the moisture gets sucked in, and then watch. There's another line's going to come north, right there, right? That's El Nino. That's what El Nino does. It provides. I know it's this cumulative rainfall. But essentially, I'm just looking at it, say moisture. But look at that. It's all trying to pull up here, and if it phases, which it could, and it will at some point, with one of these plumes, I don't want to say biblical rainfall. It's a lot of rain, man. And a lot of thunderstorm potential. There's a lot of things. This is summer. You know what happens in the winter when El Nino gets going? The polar jet stream comes down there, and it's game the heck on, right? That's winter. This is summer. This is just a preview. And what we're seeing in the preview window right now is swell along the coast, surf advisories, things like that, and monsoonal moisture and humidity, and maybe a thunderstorm, maybe a shower. And then we get in October, November, and December when it's a very strong El Nino, which it looks like it will be, or at least a strong El Nino. It's on. Okay. So just so you know, so I think that's a pretty clear, concise way to understand it, isn't it? And so when people talk about it, it's funny. I've told this story. I've worked with a lot of meteorologists. I've hired a lot of meteorologists in television, which is sometimes they're not meteorologists, which is most times they're not. But I have asked one of the questions I always ask. Well, so back in the old days, I go, so explain El Nino simply to me. No one can do it. And I remember thinking, come on, it's warm water and it drifts north. I mean, come on, it's that simple. But it's an overwhelming concept because there are so many vectors involved. This is so I just told Pam this morning. I go, I don't know, because my camera cuts off at 30 minutes. I told her, I go, I could really go. I used to go 2 minutes for weather. I could literally do an hour, which nobody be left, but I could do it. This is the Medford area air quality stuff. This is some temperature stuff up in Medford, 69 degrees. Wind directions, Mount Shasta right now is 69 degrees, 72 in Wairika. It's not out of control, but it's at 9:30 in the morning, so it's still cool. So it's going to be a warm day. And this is out towards Eureka. The inversion, we'll look at it, is about, I think I mapped it at 1,700 feet. So red line, blue line, they're close together. So there's fog. You see the fog, right? Oh, there's fog right there. Oops. I just changed inversion location, but that's fine. You see the fog, and then you see the fog here, but then you see the dry upper atmosphere, which means the fog's not, it's a sparse layer, and it's not getting very far inland. It's not very robust. This is the casino, Thunder Valley Casino, elevation 131 feet, and that is about as Central Valley as you get. Temperatures in the valley up in this area are going to go about 97 degrees, and they'll feel the benefits of a sea breeze tonight. This is Lake Tahoe, South Lake Tahoe. It's on up there, right? Look at that moisture, this the high clouds. Let's take a look and see how high those are. We can go to the sounding. Remember, that's the weather balloon. It's going to go up. It's going to show dry, and somewhere around 18,000 feet, it's going to show lifted condensation level. That's the height of the clouds. And that tells us a bunch. It's going to tell us how, let's see if it's, so, yeah, okay, I'm there. Let's go here. Hope this is, and you see that's current cloud cover right here. And here's where we are. There's blue line, red line, so there's no fog. Dry all the way up to, the red line gets close to the blue line, and it's at 15,000 feet. I don't remember what I said, but 15,000 feet, and the layer is moist all the way through 24,000 feet, and then it dries above that. That's how you can tell. And if these lines hug all the way up, which the red and the blue, then you've got a deep moist layer, and you're probably going to be seeing some rain. Mount Tamalpais. I guess I was just going to show you the sea breeze is going to be here again tonight, which is, that's that footprint, right? I just get used to, because again, you're like, if you're in Redding or Red Bluff, you're like, whatever, Bill. But I do this because it does have a slight impact on you, but it really, this is where everybody lives. Sorry, I know. It's sometimes I have to be, in LA is where everybody lives, I know. This is out in Merced. A few people live out there, Bakersfield. You see some monsoonal moisture, right? There's a few scattered showers. I can pull them up right now. Let's see if we get them. I may have gone. Yeah, a few scattered showers. That's monsoonal moisture. That's helping with the smoke situation up there in Northern California. This, of course, is Bakersfield. This is a live camera. Bakersfield clear, or visible satellite, and you just see the fog footprint along the coast. You can see why there's scattered showers up in Northeast California. And this, when you see fog, that tells you it's a stable pattern, usually a high pressure zone. That typically is what that is. And so you go, oh yeah, stable, it's not raining. And up here, there's a little bit of instability and that moisture. Look at that, where's the monsoonal flow? Upper air, 18,000 feet, the high pressure. Low at the surface, becomes high aloft and spins like this and starts grabbing moisture from Texas, Gulf of California. And if El Nino provides it, it'll grab moisture from there as well. And that's what we're waiting on, and that's what's it'll happen this year. That'll get caught up in the flow a couple times. This is Los Angeles. Air quality, I gotta spend more time with you guys, I know, but you guys have a ton of microclimates too. You guys, Los Angeles. You can see the air quality's not great today. And that has to do, you can see it. There's not a lot of fog. There's not a lot of wind. You can see that surf advisory along the coast, that purple area. But you don't see a sea breeze. You get used to looking at these. That's a westerly wind at 5 knots. This is a southwesterly wind, south-southwest at 10 knots. So it's pretty light. Even for the ocean side, it's just 5 knots westerly. So the wind is not getting that far inland. So it's going to be a warm day. Los Angeles right now, 79 degrees. Victorville's 86 degrees. Air quality not great. Inversion. Do I have an inversion to show you? Yeah, I better not. You got some fires that have been burning. Those are mostly out now. And then this is looking towards Carlsbad. That air looks, it's the same thing. It's yellow. I don't even know what we got there. I guess I was looking at the surf pattern. So this is Nature Snacks. Ocean Beach, great highway. like I was saying the other day, man, the sand when it gets blowing out there, it covers the highway. It covers the highway. I've seen it. Let's see. I've seen the highway 4 inches. This is how I measure fish too. I think I've seen the highway about 4 inches, maybe 5 inches deep in sand after a big blow. They've gotten better at plowing it. That's the onshore wind ocean beach. Surf is there. South swell gets in. You can actually see a little south in this swell. You can't, but I can. I can see a little bump coming out of the south. Ocean Beach, that's up by my friends up at Kelly's. This is Capitola, that cute little town down in the end of Monterey. And this way is kind of fun, right? You got a longboard? That's fun. You're a hero. The kids are digging it. You're digging it. Place gets crowded, though. And chirpy, too. It gets a little chirpy. And then, oh, nobody out there. God. I used to surf this place. I've been surfing at Pleasure Point for thousands of years. And, yeah, we used to think 10 guys was a crowd. But they're having fun. That's awesome. And then Malibu, just a cool camera. That's just California, right? I did a video about surf culture a while back. You should watch it. I watched it the other day, and it was pretty accurate. Because I spent a lot of time on the coast, and I was a lone wolf, so I traveled alone. I'd go to Malibu, I'd go to Oxnard, I'd go places you weren't supposed to go because I was alone. And because when I say not supposed to go, very localized. And Malibu used to be, especially out at the peak. But I'd go down here a lot and surf. And what I was going to get at is, surf culture changes based on the wave and the latitude you're at. And someday if you watch that video, you'll get it, because it's like Ocean Beach guys are gnarly. And by the time you get down to San Onofre, everybody's really cool. They're playing backgammon and stuff at the beach. They're talking. We didn't talk. For further north you go, the less talking, because you're doing a lot of paddling. All right, that's Malibu. That's Encinitas, or that's down by Newport. This is down by Newport on jetties. This is Brooks Bears doing whatever they do, moving around. They're getting fat. Oh, the Brooks Bears, here's the thing. They're coastal brown bears. They can exceed 1,000 pounds after summer, sometimes up to 1,200 pounds. They can gain 3 to 5 pounds a day, or over the course of this feeding frenzy, up to 400 pounds. So that big fat guy walking towards us could end up at 1,400 pounds. What else I got? It's a 6-foot waterfall, concentrates the sockeye salmon, and they go out. They do have Fat Bear Week, which is towards the end of the season, and people vote on the fattest bear for hibernation. There's my vote right there, that dude. He's a fat bear. And then we got Iris. She's awesome. And that's her baby on the other side. And you still see the egg, which is interesting. I think the eagles would have kicked it out. Like, I do feel like they would kick out that egg. It's been dead. There was 2 dead eggs. The clutch was 3, and one hatched. Maybe they did throw out the other ones. I wonder if the mom's just still hopeful. I don't know, but they're awesome birds. And when you're fishing and you see them, that's such awesome love. Whenever I see one when I'm fishing, that's always a good sign. And then this is the purple hand. I keep threatening to buy that for Pam. She'd be so pissed. So I'm not busting on it, but right? That's something I would have wanted in 8th grade. And people moving, man. That's what Venice Beach is. Okay, so we covered a lot. Things are gonna be a little bit squirrely as we get into this El Nino period, where it's moderate right now. It'll be strong, but this moisture is going to add to the variability of our weather. It already is those scattered showers up north, but the humidity that's going to be pulled in over the next few days, you'll notice it, and you'll notice some changes because of cloud cover, a little bit of temperature fluctuations. There's nothing extreme right now, but the background noise of the tropical Pacific is being heard. Okay, we'll talk to you. Probably, I'm going to be gone. I'm going to do a cool trip. You know where I'm going. I'll try to put something together at one point. See you back here.
I get that crown. A crown, yeah. Yeah, you gotta get in with it. Yeah, this guy, I think the guy would do want my crown. The guy's ready to go away. And the crown back. That means me. We gotta get it taken out. And means you gotta brush your teeth. Falls out. Make sure everybody there. You kind of gotta get some. Oh, they probably have to. We probably have to redo the crown. They probably need to buy a cinnamon that we do. Yeah. The crown, we gotta probably redo the kind of crap. I probably gotta redo it. Petty and pop out. Bye, man. Bye.